Set Funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the Evil FB Network YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire Roy Blecker. You'll see my nice, smiling, shining face. Lots of stuff. We'll have Xavier Taco Baccaria in his latest. If that isn't enough, the missing 500,000 kids. And the people, I really want to know from the people who are going to vote, or the 60% so far, and they've already made up their minds, they're voting for Xavier Taco Baccaria. Well, the race report, B. Shep, in the land of Lincoln. He conquered it big time. Susan Shelley will be up. We'll get to the latest BS crap that they're trying to go in New Jersey. Oh, only 6,000 illegals were registered to vote. We know that's a lie. The latest smash and grabs are coming back. Bobby Kennedy shut off $1 billion in potential fraud to Los Angeles, but the aforementioned Robert Kennedy Jr., Housing and Health Secretary, posted this picture today of a nice size, and looks like nothing in the fish department, according to me, is better than a red sockeye salmon, which he's holding out on there. But even more important with that is the message he posted with said sockeye salmon during my tour of Indian Health Services clinics and hospitals in August, which must have been last year, to spend an early morning fishing canal during the second sockeye run. Get outside, get a real life. Nothing could be more important. No message could be no more important than get outside and get a real life. Go out and catch a fish. Do some hunting. Build a sandcastle at the beach. Lord knows it's going to be 100 degrees out here in the hinterlands, which it hasn't made it close, maybe 90 today. We've gotten into the whole fake news on the temperature stuff. Real fake news that we've documented and we ran through last week. But get outside and frickin' do something. Get a little tan on the skin. Have some fun. Don't let them take the last vestiges of fun and adventure out of our lives, which they've been doing a damn good job of doing here lately. And I say not no, but hell no. Great advice from Robert Kennedy Jr. Get into the race report. The Lucas Oil Dirt Late models were in the land of Lincoln at Lincoln Speedway in Illinois. Let's see if the first of our highlights will play. Here we go.
About to catch lap traffic, and that might be where the 32 is able to work around the Rocket 1.
Shepard heads the cushion. Oh, Miles moves front, bounces off the wall, and he collects Pierce.
So you see Brandon Shepard, lap car spun. Brandon Shepard barely nicked him with the quarter pound, kept going. Bobby Pierce running in second spot. Obviously had the misfortune of collecting the lap car. He had to go to the back of the field. This is about 12 laps to go in a 50-lap feature on Flow Racing night. Now let's see what happens at the end. That's why we say never give up. Here we go.
To him, the DJ. We've been here 5 times. We now, out of turns 3 and 4, will have 5 different winners. The winner of the Growl Showdown at Lincoln Speedway, Brandon Shepherd.
The crowd comes to their feet for Sheppy. Second will go to Devin Moran. Bobby Pierce third.
So Bobby Pierce made it all the way back up to third from having to start in the back of the pack after that unfortunate crash with a lap car. Didn't affect Brandon Shepherd. He kept going. He just skimmed him with the right rear quarter panel, but made it through. What a heck of a race. They'll be at Farbury tonight. And let's see what else is on the flow. Just on flow racing, you got the high limit at Lunarville and Flow Racing Night in America at Farbury. All of Brandon Shepherd, Bobby Pierce, Devin Moran, and the crew will all be back in that one. Also, last shot for the race report, 1967. San Jose, the famous, the paved track San Jose Speedway, with the super modifieds. Out there, Bob Mai's collection, posted by Dennis Maddish photos. You see, man, some of the best super modified racing went on up there in San Jose. Kearney Bowl, West Capitol, of all that. And salute to those guys. That's 1977. You see the competition out there. It used to be throngs of people that used to either race or go to the races and had some fun. Went outdoors and had life. It's about time the rest of you get out there. And if you're old school, that's why a sprint car, if you're old school, a sprint car doesn't have a wing. There's no such thing as a winged or non-winged sprint car. A sprint car didn't have a wing. If you put a wing on it, it was called a super modified. So, if you hear some of us old schoolers call a open wheel car with a wing on it a super modified, there's a great example at San Jose Speedway. Why? Get into this and the rest. LA cops. Now the news services are up with the helicopters, finding the people or tracking the people that are supposedly got stolen cars. The cops, hell with it. We buy them helicopters and cop cars and all sorts of equipment and pay them $250,000 a year, total compensation. And they just like, the video Spencer Prater from ABC posted will blow your mind. Susan Shelley at the bottom of the hour, and much, much more on today's show. Yeah, the Spencer Pratt video. Let's set it up a little bit. You know how you get the alerts on there, LA, they go in runs. So we haven't had some police pursuit chases on in a while, but they'll start. They go in packs. So there was a Grand Theft Auto in LA the other day. And dudes out there cruising around, no cops. The only ones that are following them are ABC, Fox 11, KTLA, whomever. The cops pulled off the cops' helicopter. So this is the scene from ABC 7. Dude's running low on fuel. Reported Grand Theft Auto.
Southbound Long Beach now, making another westbound turn here, finding another gas station. Might be the same one. He must be low on gas. Driver stepping out of the vehicle. And he's he's going to drop it right here. Banning. Oh, he's going to get gas.
The poor helicopter guy thought, oh, he's going to drop the car here, run off and that. No! He says, well, I guess he looked a little panicked, run over there. Maybe the cops are coming, I better hurry up. He said, no, he wasn't bailing and running for it. He's going to fuel up the unit and take off again. Why not? Because there's no cops chasing him. Here we go. You see as he walks around, now he's going to go to the car. Oh, maybe change the radio station and turn it up. He's looking
This
at
driver nervously getting gas.
I don't know that he's nervous.
Feeling some degree of relief here, although you can tell he's still very animated. He's got his shirt covering his face. Clearly aware of the helicopters, but pretty unaware of the fact that he's pretty much on his own down there. There's a wad of cash there, maybe?
He is like checking it out,
I mean,
saying
he couldn't be acting any more suspicious, I'll tell you that.
he's checking it out, thinking, when I hope I can get his thing filled up before the cops get here. There he is, gets it in,
Just
drops.
dropping the drop. This is wild scene here as he just dropped.
I mean, by caramba. There you see unbelievable. LA cops pulled the helicopter off. This is Spencer Pratt. This is why this is communist. Neutering everybody. Neutering the cops. Well, if the cops aren't going to do anything, well, we can just defund them. We don't need them. And if this is the case, they might be right. Would be about 2 minutes or so to fill up, which was pretty quick. Or at least on that, maybe he didn't fill up. Whatever, he got 2 minutes worth of gas. Enough to take off, and away we go. Grand Theft Auto. No pursuit, no following with the helicopters, no nothing. As Spencer Pratt said, I don't know why he didn't go in and get coffee and donuts. Fuel himself up a little bit. Holy bleeping cow. But this is what they want us to do. This is how they're training us. Take away law enforcement's ability to do their job. And then, well, why do you need cops? We'll take care of everything. Oh, yeah. We know how that will work out. It will get even worse. As we're slated here in about 3 months to elect Javier Taco Becerra as governor of California. And as I said with Jerry Brown, when we were about to elect Gavin Newsom in 2018, I said, you put Gavin Newsom in here, you're going to be begging for Jerry Brown. And of course, well, how does it get worse under Newsom? More money we give to them, $355 billion, which is structural deficit, worse this, that, everything, vagrants, Grand Theft Auto, you just peel off, go to the gas station, gas up. Well, no cops are coming. Fraud, billions. We elect Javier Becerra governor. We're going to be begging for Gavin Newsom back. Javier Becerra, if you want a good taco, avoid the restaurants. You should avoid places that that are in legitimate businesses Here's Xavier Taco Bacaria.
Whether you are new to our state and visiting, and we hope you do spend some money, and if you're going to buy a street taco, buy a real street taco, not something from one of these, you know. I'll leave it at that. All I know is that there's real food in California, and there are real street tacos, and you don't get them in some establishment that's been around for a long time. You get it on the street from the guy who's been making it for a long time in his little cart. Yeah. We're going to defend everyone from that man and woman who make that street taco to the people who we call dreamers.
Oh, we're just here to help you. You get that taco. Yeah, I don't get it from a legitimate business. A legitimate person who went out. I don't care where they came from or which country they were born in. Went out, got a business, went through all the crapiola you have to go through in California and is barely making it, and you want to stomp all over them. You want to bring, this is what Xavier Bacaria is telling you. He wants to bring Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela to you. Just go down to Guatemala or Guadalajara or Hermosillo, and that's the future. That's the California in America Xavier Bacaria wants to bring to you. And you've got 60% of Californians saying, hell yes, we want to live in abject communism, poverty, and in control of the cartels like we were in Mexico. This United States stuff where you have freedom and liberty is for the birds. And he's going to protect them. Gloria Romero posted this little vignette. Hopefully it will play. Maybe it won't. Well, it was pretty good if it would have played, but it doesn't seem to be. Let's see if it'll go now. Love the technology of that. Maybe it will work now.
You can follow every rule. You can pay the state its due. But the guy out on the sidewalk is the one I'll choose over you. Tus tacos no cuentan. Oh, you had a health inspector and you wash your hands real clean. Well, that establishment is boring, not the real authentic scene.
Not the real authentic scene. As it shows, and this graphic is great, La Bacaria and the cartel boss. This is what Xavier Bacaria is going to bring to you. Just go down to Mexico if that's what you want. I don't know why you escaped from Mexico or Guatemala or Peru to bring that same crap up here. His record is a disgrace. Gloria Romero, the 500,000 or however many kids as HHS secretary he gave to the cartels and the labor traders, kids.
Starting today in the Democrat Party abandoned community of East Los Angeles. We've had it with career politicians evading responsibility. And Steve, your opponent, his opponent lost It's estimated 400,000 migrant kids under his watch. Where are they? I'm a mother. Steve's a father. These are someone's children.
Yeah, and they're working as slaves in the sex industry, labor, in the fields. I don't know how hard a heart you have to be supporting this. And I hope I never get to that point. I hope I never even get within 0.1% of that. Remember yesterday, Mikey Sherrill, or whatever the broad's name is, it's governor of New Jersey, the ding-dong. 66,000 non-citizens registered to vote after an error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system, the governor says. Here's a bombshell posted by Donald J. 35,152 is the new number just released by Homeland Security of non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey. But we found maybe 60 in an error. It's 5 times higher than that. Just the first statistics out from Homeland Security. But they tried to, it was just an error and we fixed it. Oh, shut the hell up. This is more communism than that. Pull the cops off so they can just steal your car, and we'll just say, hey, make sure you fill up the car so you can get far away from us. If Californians knew his record during COVID, they would never, ever, he would never be a viable candidate for governor. Well, yes, he is. And people do know. Like I said, I don't know how hard a heart the people have that are supporting Baccaria and all this crap of selling 500,000 kids into slavery, sex slavery, labor slavery. They know full well what they're doing. Bobby Kennedy Jr. and the Trump administration are withholding almost $1 billion in Medicaid funding. It's ABC 10 report. Here we go.
This time, nearly $1 billion in federal Medicaid funding is being withheld over what the Trump administration says is high risk of fraud, waste, and abuse. I want to bring in ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen, who's here with us for what this means for the state and also how, of course, Governor Gavin Newsom is responding to this news.
Alex, California and Minnesota are the top 2 states impacted. The Trump administration says the states need to stop the fraud. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom says this is all political theater, risking those most vulnerable in the state.
If we suspect fraud, you will not receive taxpayer dollars until you prove that those payments are legitimate.
California is one of 2 states the Trump administration says is under review for possible Medicaid fraud. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the federal government is deferring about $867.5 million in Medicaid payments to California until the state provides documentation showing the money was spent in compliance with federal requirements. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz says the review is focused on California's spending for its in-home supportive services program during the past 2 fiscal years.
California's spending in these in-home programs went up 24%. The rest of the country's average is about 12%.
Attorney General Rob Bonta, along with 14 other attorneys general, sent this letter to the Trump administration, arguing that withholding this money would negatively impact those most vulnerable and smaller hospitals.
Oh, it's going to negatively impact those in smaller hospitals? No. What, out of 800 they shut the money off of? 800, only 2 complained or said, hey, we're legitimate businesses. If you were a legitimate business getting Medicare payments, home in health, hospice care, or whatever, and they shut you off, you'd be on the horn saying, WTF, what the hell's going on? They shut 800 off of this stuff. 800. Two complain. We're getting down to 0.1%. This stuff is absolutely unreal.
Bonta says Medi-Cal, the state's version of Medicaid, covers more than 1/3 of the state's residents. Democratic Congressman Ami Bera is concerned about the impacts to hospitals statewide.
It's going to affect all of our hospitals because when people lose their coverage, it doesn't mean they're going to stop having heart attacks or other healthcare conditions. They'll just...
Of course, Grandma's going to die because... Remember they said, oh, if we pass this in universal health care and health care for illegals in the emergency rooms will be, you won't be crowded. If you have an emergency, you'll get right in. This is the reason why we got to do that, but and the emergency rooms are crammed up, jammed up, even worse. Everything, practically everything they say is a lying deception. And it's...
30 seconds.
We'll be joining the Mighty Met KMET. Hopefully Susan Shelley calls in. We'll get her thoughts on the week's news and whatever is going on.
10 seconds and no Susan.
Okay, just tell me when she comes in.
Yep.
Your free phone app today. IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music. Comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 in the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the aforementioned AM band. Join your vast video audience on the Evil FB Network YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. Type in iNewsWire Roy Bleckert. You'll see my nice smiling, shining face. Subscribe, do all that good stuff. Bobby Kennedy Jr. out there caught a big sockeye salmon while he was out. Said, hey, get outside. Get a life. Do something. Don't be sitting there cooped up looking at the stupid 3x5 screen, fantasizing about who knows what. Go out and enjoy life. Experience life. Then you won't fall to pieces every time somebody says boo. Dude with a reported Grand Theft Auto car in LA. And only the news stations are following him with the choppers on the pursuit. Cops are not there. Cop helicopter's not there. They're LA residents and we're paying billions for, probably. Gas is up. Rolls out. This is what the communists want you to live. Oh, that's how they're going to defund the police. Oh, well, why should we have police? They're not trying. They steal your car. They're not going to look for it anyway, so why should we have them? It's like Xavier Taco Bacaria. Oh, you have to have real street tacos. Get it from the guy in the cart. Oh, those guys, those idiots that went and bought a business, went through all the permits and all the hassle it takes and the billions of dollars it takes to open a real taco stand. Screw you. They want to bring Mexico and the cartels to you. That's what they want you to live. That's the future. That's why Becerra gave 500,000 kids to the cartels for sex and labor and who knows what. That's what they're doing. That's what they're trafficking them in. Some of the ridiculous, emblematic, idiotic, anything that we have to go through.
I'm working on it. I have a messed up phone line.
Oh, okay. So that's why we don't have Susan Shelley. The technical problems are begging us. Man, isn't that something else? Smash and grabs are on the roll. Seems like they're picking back up. Here's the latest we got from Kate Cron 4. Here we go. We thought.
To a Hayward phone repair shop and taking off with hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise.
And the owner of this store has only been open since April, and this is now the second time it's been hit. Crown 4's Sarah Stinson has the story.
The owner and manager here at Mr. Phone Repair are still reeling from the smash and grab and counting inventory to see just how much was stolen. Security video captures masked thieves using a crowbar to break through the front window of Mr. Phone.
This is why. This here is why. This is what Becerra is talking about when he wants street tacos. He wants the cartels to run everything. These guys smashing the stuff are probably working most likely for the cartels. Mexican, Chinese, whatever. This is the future they have for California and the U.S.
Repair in Hayward. After several attempts, they break through the glass and head straight for high-priced items like gaming consoles, iPhones, speakers, and other merchandise.
Smashed, they broke the glass, they broke the showcase, coming here stealing in, they stole the big speaker, they stole a bunch of stuff, clothing.
Manager Sammy Sabon says the store has only been open since April, but this is already the second time it's been hit.
I feel like we're getting targeted, to be honest with you.
The latest.
We're being targeted. Well, you know, the jewelry stores are finally getting the security, or they're winding that down, or making it more difficult to rob the jewelry stores. So now, we'll go after the phone places with the $1,500 and $2,000 and $2,500 3x5 screens that most people are creaming their jeans, either wanting to get. Oh, well, let's have the cartels go over and steal one and we'll buy it for $500. This is the kind of mentality we're getting.
This smash and grab happened early Friday morning, just after 3:15 at the store in Gateway Plaza. At one point, one of the thieves appears to be holding a gun as he runs toward the back of the store. Sabon says that's the room where the owner sometimes sleeps while working overnight phone repairs. This time, he wasn't there.
It was just heartbreaking because he was about to sleep that day. And who knows, if he go out, he was on the trigger ready.
Another suspect is seen filling a box with merchandise before the group takes off. When the owner and Sabon arrived later that morning, they found shattered glass scattered across the floor and empty showcases.
It's just upsetting. It's a sad world we live in, that we have to come next day, open up, and we see the business broken into pieces.
Hayward police say the investigation is still in its early stages and no arrests have been made. Despite another setback, Sabon says they have no plans to close their doors.
God willing, if they catch them or not, but hopefully we will still keep going positive.
So this is what Xavier Taco Becerra is talking about. Don't buy your, this is the whole thing of don't buy your tacos, from a legitimate restaurant, buy them off the guy on the street corner. Don't go, you got to be an idiot to pay $2,500 for an iPhone over at the guy with a legitimate store. We'll just have the cartels go over there, kick the doors in, and steal it, And then we'll sell it to you for $500. This is the kind of mentality. The 60% of you that have already made up your mind, or supposedly by the PPICI poll that are going to vote for Becerra, put 500,000 kids of your kids into sex and labor slavery, gave them to the cartels or whomever. No questions asked. Don't question anybody that wants to. If somebody comes and wants them, just give them the kids. More from the Cron Report.
No matter what, we're going to keep going stronger than ever.
The owner has already replaced the massive window that was shattered, saying it's just one added cost to this theft. Meanwhile, next door at Ohana Hawaiian Barbecue, one of its doors is covered in this plywood. Employees telling me off camera they left it up after a break-in that happened earlier this year.
Yeah, like Becerra. Yeah, don't go to the legitimate Hawaiian Barbecue. Buy it off the guy in the cart with the street corner. Well, why the hell would the Hawaiian Barbecue put a window in? Because they're just going to bust it out again and come in. Maybe if they see the plywood up, they're thinking, well, there's nothing in there really yet to steal. Maybe we'll come back when we see the window in. Maybe they've replaced all this stuff.
Susan should be in the Zoom call now.
So, here we finally get it. As we usually do on a Wednesday, we have the famed editorial writer, columnist for the Press Enterprise, San Bernardino Sun, Inland Daily Bulletin, Redlands Daily Facts, more important to me, Vice President of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Susan Shelley, welcome to iNewsWire with Roy.
Thank you, Roy. It's great to finally be connected with you.
Boy, and you tweeted out about it. It's been on the news all day yesterday and today. They're trying to kill the Voter ID Act. Rob Bonta, I believe he thought it wasn't going to qualify, so he wrote a halfway, somewhat decent title. Now he's changing it to, if you vote, they're going to send the law after you and arrest you now if you pass the Voter ID Act. That's about what he's coming up with a ballot title and summary. This guy is beyond criminal, BS Rob Bonta, in my opinion, but what say you, Susan Shelley?
Oh, I completely agree with you. It's just awful. It sounds like it's going to prevent the whole state of California from voting. And it's just an awful title and summary. Just so unfair. But I think it can be challenged. The fact that he said it prohibits citizens from voting without presenting government-issued ID, I think, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that might be challengeable because it prevents everyone from voting, any person from voting without presenting a government ID, which reads very differently when you read it. That sounds like, well, yeah, you want to make sure that people who aren't authorized don't vote. Whereas if you say prohibits citizens, it sounds like you're stopping people who are authorized. And those are two substantively different things. And I think that might be misleading enough to be thrown out.
Let's hope so. But I don't have much confidence in the California courts to throw it out. But my main concern is, and I'm pretty sure during your negotiations on the Yes on 43 campaign, is how HJTA got to write the ballot summary of how it goes on the ballot. Let's say the government or Newsom or something or Bonta doesn't challenge it. I just want to know, can somebody else, like say the ACLU or the SEIU union, challenge the ballot title and summary that HJ is going to write on Prop 43, Susan?
Well, we didn't write the title and summary. That was also Rob Bonta, he writes all the titles and summaries. They're different for the circulating petitions than they are on the ballot. That's normal. What's not normal is trying to assassinate them. Or rather, that's a little too normal in California. But it doesn't have to be like that. However, anyone can sue. Anyone can sue. So everyone can go to the Secretary of State's website, read the titles and summaries for all the 14 measures. If you see something that you know about and you say, wait a minute, the math's not right on this, or the language is misleading, you can contact either the proponents or the opponents, whoever side you're on, and you can talk to them about it. Their contact information is in the summary files on the preview. It's called Public Display, and it's on the Secretary of State's website. You can just Google that, Public Display or Public Inspection. And it's the whole text of the voter information guide that will be mailed out to all the households of all the voters. And you can preview it now through August 10th. If you see anything at all that's not right, it can all be challenged in court. Unfortunately, as you indicated, the courts give a lot of deference to the Attorney General on this, but that doesn't mean that someone can write anything. So we'll see. I think there's a good chance that the voter ID title and summary will be thrown out, or at least changed.
Do they have the one up on Prop 43, how it's going to read on the ballot yet?
Yes, they do. It's pretty much the same as the circulating petition. It says limits ability of voters to raise revenue for local government services. But, you know, limits the ability to raise revenue means limit tax increases, which is exactly what we're doing. We're limiting tax increases. We're making it harder to raise taxes. So I'm just going to have to keep explaining that. Maybe I'll put it in the radio commercial copy and make sure that everybody knows that when you see the word limits, that means limits taxes, and that's a good thing.
1,111% on that. Switching gears, and this one's going to be this one's definitely a hot topic. From license plate readers to phone taps to privacy rights are vanishing, Susan Shelley.
Yes. Well, it seems that the police in Los Angeles and many other cities are putting these cameras up that read license plates. And they read millions of license plates. I think it was it 2 million, 20 million? It was some incredible number of license plates that they read during a 2-month test. And they popped about 50,000 alerts out of that. And meanwhile, there's this database, and who knows what is going to happen with it. So the LAPD got upset because they thought that it could be shared with the federal immigration enforcement authorities. And so they let the contract with Flock Safety Cameras expire. Now, they still have some other companies that use it, but apparently the LAPD owns the data or has more control over it, so they're not worried. But I'm worried about all of this surveillance that's going on. There's no privacy anywhere. And now we've got lots of investigations where people's phone calls and text messages are being picked up, sometimes inadvertently or incidentally, where someone else is being spied upon or surveilled, and all these innocent people have their conversations recorded, and that's all legal. So really the only place you have any guarantee of privacy, or at least some legal protection, is in the U.S. mail. If you take a paper envelope and an 82-cent first-class stamp, doesn't sound like a bargain, but it is when you think about it this way, you have privacy. It is a crime for anyone to interfere, to open, to hide, to destroy your mail. And if you want to send something that's genuinely not going to be intercepted by the whole known universe, including China, that's the way to communicate. It's not fast, but it's secure.
No, I have a great concern about that because, well, and a lot of things. Moreno Valley, California, where we're broadcasting from, has a lot to do with this. About 15 years ago, we put our own camera system in, and we fought for that, for privacy and that. You know, they had to block out windows if it was shining on a house or whatever, yada, yada, yada. So we did control that. Then all of a sudden, we're getting the flock cameras on a lot of the same street lights and everything that we had our own private system on there. Now, why do we have to double up on this is a big question of that. Plus, our mayor, Ulysses Baby Jesus Cabrera, was working for Flock, was selling this, then wound up suing Flock over sexual harassment over another man. And he wound up settling that case after only working for them for a couple months. But we got the Flock cameras in. The whole Flock thing is beyond suspicious. And Not to denigrate those on the left, and I'll oppose them on that, but I do think a lot of the ones on the left have a big issue here that needs to be. I think this is maybe one of those that can cross all sorts of political lines. We need to know what exactly is going on and why, and how much of our data is being sold or used, and how does it prevent to wind up in the hands of the Chi-Coms or Russia or whomever. I think a lot of legitimate questions need to be asked on this, Susan.
Well, I completely agree. And when the president revealed in his speech last week that China has the voting file records of 220 million Americans, that's very concerning. They could do all kinds of mischief with that. And, China steals intellectual property all the time as a regular part of their business. They steal intellectual property and then they make copies of things. Well, gosh, what could they do with the voter rolls, do you suppose? This is kind of alarming. These are vulnerabilities that we should all be together on. We should all be working on closing them for the safety and security of the American people. And by the way, one of the reasons we have the Electoral College is because way back in the 18th century, the framers were worried about foreign interference in our elections. And so the Electoral College was adopted. One of the reasons is because you can't really find the people who are going to be the electors. It's not like they've been elected to Congress and you know who they are. They're selected later. And as a result, a foreign government would have a very difficult time manipulating the Electoral College because you don't know who to bribe. And so that was one of the justifications for it. They had a long, nasty fight about how they were going to elect the president. And one of the reasons the Electoral College prevailed is the worry about foreign interference. So it's not a fake concern. It's not a new concern. It's not just Trump. This is a genuine thing that we should all be working on.
You mean those evil men that founded the greatest country in the history of the world 250 years ago were worried about foreign interference in our elections way back then? That seems totally... I think you're making that up, Susan.
It's in the Federalist Papers. Read them and weep. It's right in there.
Man, that's so... And again, this is... The thing about this is this issue just didn't come up yesterday. It's been... We can go back 250 years since the beginning of the United States. The election integrity was a concern back then, long before we had machines or anything else coming on. We were worried, and rightly so, about foreign interference 250 years ago. We should be worrying about it today when the Chi-Coms got access to practically every registered voter in America. That should be a number one concern of everyone in eliminating that, in my view. But your other column for the week, Newsom doles out EV rebates in the dark. Susan Shelley.
Yes, well, excuse me, I'm fighting a cough here. This is a story about trailer bills and our non-transparent budget. You recall that the governor came out, did a video about how proud he was that he was leading on climate again. He was going to do California rebates for EVs. And he did a little video and he said, the federal government isn't doing it, but California's stepping up. We're going to lead. We're not going to cede this space to China and all this nonsense. So what this turns out to be is a budget trailer bill where they are moving money from here to there and from there to here to fund these $3,500 rebates for first-time buyers of electric vehicles. And the trouble there's a few problems with this. One is that it's half funded by the manufacturers, which means that the half that they're funding is going to show up in the price of the vehicle. How would it not? They're just going to raise the price of the car. It's not going to be any more affordable. And of course, the other part is they did this in a trailer bill. Now, a trailer bill is a budget device where the legislature gets around the legislative process. What they do is they take budget language from the Department of Finance, essentially from the governor's office, and they post it someplace on the Department of Finance website that nobody knows about. And then at the very 11th hour, they bring it to the floor, they amend it into a blank bill. It doesn't have to go through any public committee process for people to hear witnesses or ask questions. It's 72 hours. They vote on it. They rocket it to the governor's desk. What's in it? No one's read it. So this particular one had several things in it. One of them was they moved more money to what's called the demand side grid program. And that is a fancy way of saying you sign up to have your electricity turned off. They promise you some kind of a rebate or a lower rate, and then they turn off your air conditioning remotely with your smart thermostat on a hot day. And this is what they call demand side. And the money they moved to that came from a program that in 2021 was supposed to fund additional electricity generation, more resources for more electricity on hot days. So instead of that, they're pushing suffering on people who are low income and are looking for a break on their electric bill. I think that's pretty evil. And it was in a trailer bill with no debate, no committee hearing.
How shocking. How did they... I'm sure this is the first time they figured out how to hose us on the... I mean, the amount... if they spent 1/10 of the time doing stuff that would actually make our lives better, then the amount of time they spend screwing us, I mean, we would be living in heaven on earth. It's absolutely astounding. Got about a minute left. Tell them why they should join HJTA. Go.
Are running a campaign for yes on Prop 43, which is the Local Taxpayer Protection Act to save Prop 13. And we're going to have yard signs. I'm going to send some to you, Roy. I ordered 100 for you today. They'll be there in about 2 or 3 weeks. Watch for them. And we will have yard signs all up and down the state of California. We'll have door hangers that you can share with neighbors, hang on a doorknob. You don't even have to talk to anybody if you don't want to, or hand them out like flyers and talk to everybody. Be a member of this great organization at hjta.org and help us out to pass the Local Taxpayer Protection Act to save Prop 13, which is Prop 43 on your November, really your October ballot. You'll get your ballot October 5th. Mark your calendar October 5th to vote yes on 43 and join the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, hjta.org.
Thanks for being on, Susan. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks so much, Roy.
Susan Shelley, Vice President of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association and columnist extraordinaire for the Southern California News Group. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. They go through all these machinations to figure out how to screw us over. Because if they told us just like with this EV deal, or the privacy, or the flock cameras, or everything else. Oh, there's no election fraud going on. Oh, well, like in New Jersey, they come out with that doofus broad Mickey Sherrill, the governor you elected over there. Oh, well, 6,000 illegals were registered, but that was just an error. And then the next day, the Trump administration, Mark Wayne Mullen, come out. Well, we just in our first right off the get-go, we found 35,000, 5 times more. Registered illegals to vote in New Jersey. But they try to play it out. Oh, it was 6,000. It was an error, and only a few of those voted. And why would we believe any words coming out of your mouth? Mickey Sherrill, Rob Bonner, Gulag Gavin Newsom, Ulysses Baby Jesus Cabrera, or Corey Canine Hating Jackson, or anyone else. It's trying to get me off the air or on the air too quickly. We had a few seconds left here, but no, it's crazy. They want to do that, though, and they copy it like Javier Baccaria. They want to sugarcoat it, run you on the emotional side, but they're looking to screw you over and make them enriched and make them the real kings that are running your life. That'll do it for today. as we usually say at this time. Mandatory, you're back here in 23 Hours Wide to hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
Have a great night.
You got it. Oh, man.
one of the main sources of Southern California's water supply is disappearing.
And we are hearing tonight the governors of the 7 western states that use Colorado River water met with the feds today, trying to save what's left of the water. CBS LA political reporter Tom Wade joins us now. So, Tom, what do we know?
You know, here's the thing. This has been an issue in prior administrations. We covered this during the Biden administration. It's happened before that as well. I think there's a myth, too, that people think, oh, we got a lot of rain last year, so we're in the clear. But that's not how it works. It's a much bigger problem than that. So the Colorado River is a critical source of water here in Southern California, especially during lean years when the Sierra Nevadas have a low snowpack. Experts have been warning about this crisis for decades, but those warnings have largely been met with inaction at the state and federal levels. Recent images of the nation's 2 largest reservoirs, Lake Mead and Lake Powell, showed them depleted and drained to near record levels. The reservoirs feed the Colorado River, which provides drinking